My name is Sheila Quintana. I'm 19 years old and I'm undocumented. And if you're watching this, I have been arrested in an action of civil disobedience. I came to the United States as an undocumented immigrant when I was 10 years old with my family. And since then, we've been living in Pennsylvania. Growing up, I always understood that I was undocumented, even though I didn't really know what that entailed in terms of my future, especially. I started off in school and I didn't understand the language. I had a lot of trouble doing my homework. I still remember my mom poring over dictionaries, trying to translate my homework. And I started to make friends, and as I started to get along with people and to accommodate into the school and the culture in general, it became easier to repress the fact that I was undocumented. I used to tell myself that it didn't define me, that I didn't have to tell anybody that I was undocumented because it told nothing about myself, nothing essential about who I was, and therefore I could keep it from them. I went on like this until junior year in high school, when I realized that my college opportunities were very limited. I realized that I could only apply to a very few schools, and even then, my opportunities to get in would be very small. So I became very frustrated and angry, and I decided that I wanted to go back to Mexico. I decided that I could make it through there. I began to make plans. My parents were scared. They were very opposed to the idea. They were very worried about my safety. But I thought I made up my mind. And senior year, I told my high school counselor that I was going to go back to Mexico once I graduated from high school. And she figured out why. She figured out that I wasn't documented. She was very supportive, and she made a list of the private universities that were willing to look up my application. So I applied to college, and I did get mostly waitlisted notices, but I got into a few schools, including the University of Pennsylvania, where I will be a sophomore in the fall. I realized that I'm very, very lucky to be a student at such a university. Getting pulled aside by the cops and asked for a license, because that's what my parents go through every day, and that's what most undocumented parents in the United States go through, having to deal with finding a job to get mostly low wages, very, very low wages actually. I have been very lucky to have the support of my family and of people who have found out about my status and not rejected me. I've decided to participate in Section of Civil Disobedience, specifically to protest a contract that ICE made with the Montgomery County Jail to set aside 60 beds for undocumented immigrants every month. That, along with the anti-immigrant climate of Norristown, Pennsylvania, which means that they have constant checkpoints and raids that threaten to deport people and separate families. We can't afford to have more people from our community go without an education that they want. I'm also coming out to show my family that they don't have to be afraid anymore. I want to show my parents that it's okay to speak up, that we have to be outspoken about our status, that we have to break with our silence, that this immigration debate has been going on for decades and decades, and that we've never been part of it, even though we are being affected by it. We have to speak up.